On today's show, Kawhi Leonard is going to the Olympics. How do we feel about that as Clipper fans? But wait, as of Wednesday, Kawhi Leonard will not be going to Paris. What to make of all of it on today's Locked On. Feels like we're back in the season with that news, Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. I'm your host, Darian Vaziri, born and raised in LA. Finished my 19th season as a Clipper fan not too long ago. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, for even more LA Clipper, NBA, and LA sports content. And Locked On Clippers is free and available wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube, where I want you to let me know what you think of all this news. And it's big stuff to talk about if you're a Clipper fan, and most of us are. And before we get started, this episode is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. GameTime is the best place to get great deals on last-minute tickets. Okay. Kawhi Leonard, I made an episode about a couple of weeks ago talking about if Kawhi Leonard should go to the Olympics. Because he was selected for the Olympic team back during the season, right in the beginning of when he started experiencing injuries. And I already thought when I saw him get that jersey from Ty Lue, when it happened, that I hope Kawhi doesn't go. I want to say selfishly, but then I don't think it's selfish for a fan base and an organization. Because, who are you calling selfish? Are you calling Kawhi selfish for going and accomplishing something that he probably wants to accomplish, which is to play for the team, for the American team, for Team USA, get a gold medal? Is that selfish of him if he wants to do that and he's always set out to do that? You can argue that. I don't think so. But is it selfish for a fan base to not want Kawhi to risk further injury by playing in competitive games when he can't stay healthy for the biggest games of the season? I mean, I don't think so either. I think, everybody wants what they want, right? And Kawhi Leonard right now is an employee of the Los Angeles Clippers, and I am a fan of the Los Angeles Clippers. And I don't want our franchise player that hasn't been able to stay healthy to go play extra games. You can call me selfish all you want. You can do it all you want. But that's just how I feel, right? Because if something happens over there, then we just don't win in any way. He gets injured for us in his off season when he should be rehabbing. I mean, he could not finish the season. And then the thing is, he didn't have surgery. It was inflammation. He was working too hard or just playing too many games. It wasn't the surgery. So it sounded like he had recovered. We were getting practice clips of Kawhi Leonard looking pretty good. It looked like he was fine. I saw fans on Twitter talking about this feels great to see Kawhi Leonard look fine. But apparently, and mind you, I was not happy with it. I wouldn't say I'm on an island. I think a lot of fans are split on this, Clipper Nation, of whether you are fine with Kawhi going, do your thing, go win the gold medal, and it makes it feel, there's a couple things with it. It makes you feel confident that, look, he's feeling good for this upcoming season. And then also, it's not bad if you want to talk about trading him later down the line, getting his stock up, winning a gold medal, and being healthy in front of the whole world. That's not a bad look. But for me, no, I was extremely against it. I was extremely against it for the fact that he just doesn't need to play more games in the offseason, in my opinion. But here's the thing. Our coaches, Tyronn Lue and Jeff Van Gundy, are on the staff. They're on the Team USA coaching staff. So they're there to monitor everything. And the news came out on Wednesday that Kawhi Leonard was withdrawing from Team USA, that he's not going to play in the Olympic Games. And Derek White will be replacing Kawhi. This is not a podcast where I'm going to be talking about why Derek White was replaced, but I mean, Derek White is clearly a glue guy that can just fit into any team. I am shocked, though, that the finals MVP, Jaylen Brown, did not get selected, but that's all I'm going to say on that matter. And here's a quote, an official statement about Leonard from USA Basketball. It says, Kawhi has been ramping up for the Olympics over the past several weeks and had a few strong practices in Las Vegas. He felt ready to compete. However, he respects that USA Basketball and the Clippers determined it's in his best interest to spend the remainder of the summer preparing for the upcoming season rather than participating in the Olympic Games in Paris. Let's just analyze that right there. That to me sounds like we made the call. USA Basketball and the Clippers determined. I mean, no, that's the Clippers. And remember, Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy are there. Or it could be Kawhi's. It's one of two things, right? At the end of the day, it's one of two things. It's either the front office just made a call and said, look, we don't want this. Now that we thought about it more, we don't want you playing for Team USA. Or Kawhi has had another setback, and Ty Lue and Jeff Van Gundy pulled him right there, and Kawhi himself was just like, I can't go. The main thing we're going to talk about all of this throughout the episode, but the main thing I just want to say, the takeaway for this segment, look, it's happening again, everybody. Like, this is frightening to me. And I feel really sorry for Kawhi, of course, but like, not as much that he can't play Team USA. Like, yeah, that's a bummer, but like, it's more that this constantly keeps happening to him. That's the frustrating part. Like, a guy who really loves playing basketball, like, he's such a talented basketball player and he's worked so hard to make himself so much better. I always say, I've never seen Kawhi Leonard, a player in all my years of watching the NBA. This is going to be this upcoming season is going to be my 20th season watching the NBA, like, intently. Because literally, when I was 7 years old in the 05-06 season, when I became a Clipper fan, I was all into that season. I could still, and there's a reason why I remember that season so much better than even seasons that happened just like 5-6 years ago. Like, I can literally list every series off the top of my head from that 05-06 first round. Just to prove it to you, I'll just do it right now. We played the Nuggets in the 3-6. Dallas played Memphis in the 4-5. Lakers played the Suns in the 2-7. And San Antonio played the Kings in the 1-8. I was 7, and I haven't rewatched any of these games, really. It's just that year was my first year, so like, I'll always remember it. And of course, that was the Clippers' first ever playoff series win. And I had the privilege of and I emphasize the privilege, I was invited by a family friend to be at game 1 against the Nuggets. So that was special. But anyway, the point is, this is frightening. Like, this really is, for us fans, for the franchise. Like, Kawhi was set to be okay. He looked fine. The biggest fear is that he's having problems again. And it makes you wonder, like, can he play a full season? Like, how severe is this load management going to be? People on Twitter are reacting like he should retire or something. And I think that's extremely excessive. I think he just needs to relax for a couple of months, personally. But this is concerning. I think that the biggest takeaway is there's more news about Kawhi not being able, or... See, we don't know. That's the thing, right? We don't know if it's that he's not able to play basketball or if the Clippers are coming in and making the call. I'm sorry. If the Clippers are coming in and making the call just out of precaution. But why would they do it now after they've already sent him to Vegas? And then I saw a report from Brad Turner who also had us linked to Miles Bridges, by the way, and that didn't happen. Miles Bridges ended up re-signing with the Charlotte Hornets. But he had a report that at the Clippers practice facility, they deemed like that it was not safe. But it's like, okay, if that was done at the Clippers practice facility, why was he sent to Vegas? That doesn't really add up. I think the main takeaway is that this is not a great sign. And either way you want to slice it, this is not a great sign. The only way it's a great sign is if he's okay. If he's okay and the Clippers just said, boom. Like, basically what I've been saying on the pod, like, if we don't want you to risk it. But coming up, going to go more into the Clipper call versus the possibility of injury coming up. I got to tell you a little something about GameTime. GameTime is the best place to get great deals last minute on tickets for any event that you would like to look for. GameTime is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the GameTime app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, GameTime takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last minutes for sports, comedy, theater, and more. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right. Back talking about Kawhi Leonard withdrawing from the U.S. national team. ESPN's Mark Spears reported that Leonard's camp expressed concern to USA Basketball 2 days prior to this announcement. But at practice on Tuesday, Leonard told reporters, I think I'll suit up tomorrow. Everything's been good so far. The knee has been at a neutral state, and I hope it stays that way. So these are just all like a lot of conflicting reports. And apparently Sunday, this is all from an article from CBS. Apparently on Sunday, Leonard told reporters that he had previously been concerned that he might have to miss the Olympics, but he took the time, and I was able to turn around over the last 2 weeks. And he also said that he tried to play as much as possible, felt great last season, and at a certain period of time, he just couldn't go. So a lot of things that just don't really add up. He's saying able to turn it around over the last 2 weeks. So that means that his knee inflammation or whatever it was still lingering even till the last 2 weeks. Then now he was giving it a go. So what it sounds like to me is like he gave it a go, and he was telling the truth about that 2 weeks. He gave it a go, and something happened again. Like something happened again where he was like, this is not worth it. And the Clippers are like, definitely not worth it, especially with the coaches right there. So at the end of the day, I think this is for the better. I'm actually like, to a degree, relieved, even though I shouldn't be, because I think he will be fine. But if he just, doesn't play and some kind of training camp in full speed for anything till the season starts, till training camp itself, I think he should be fine. Of course, I don't know the specifics. I'm not in the building. But I'm a little relieved that he won't be playing at the Olympics, because what if he got an actual injury at the Olympics? It's not just like knee inflammation. That scares me. Like, that really scares me. So, if I had to be honest, I think it was a little setback. I have no sources on that, but this is why I say that. Why send him to the Olympics and then pull him? That just doesn't make sense, especially with the coaches there. If you had a concern, you would have had the concern before he even went. And I bet you they had a concern. But they were like, at the end of the day, it's Kawhi's life. I mean, he wants to go. He has every right to go. It's a good look for our franchise to have an Olympian, Team USA player. But it's risky. I could be wrong, though. Who knows if the Clippers could have just been like, are you kidding me, going to the Olympics, man? But who knows? I don't take anything that comes out about how the Clippers feel and this and that seriously. I wouldn't take that anything that comes out fully to the bank. I think Kawhi Leonard might have a better chance of telling you the truth than anything that comes about what the Clippers say they want to do. I mean, remember, they said that they wanted to come out with that Russ volunteered to come off the bench. And we know in actuality that wasn't the case. So don't take, and the Clippers, with the lying about Kawhi's injuries, the stuff about Kawhi is always mysterious. There's never going to be transparency there, and that's one of the things that's been so frustrating for Clipper fans throughout these last 5 years. Having Kawhi Leonard on the roster is the lack of transparency with his injuries, which obviously San Antonio Spurs fans can relate to as well. So we're probably not going to know if there was a real setback or not. All we'll know is if he's going to be ready for training camp, in which I'm predicting that he will be. I just think hopefully he just chills. But the Clippers, they came in and got him out of there. or Kawhi got himself out of there. Kawhi Leonard will not be going to the Olympics and playing for Team USA. He will be prioritizing the Clippers, which, again, that's something that you want to hear, though, if you're a Clipper fan. You want to hear that he's prioritizing the Clippers, that's the most important thing, because it is. And I know, some will say, like, playing for your country is definitely bigger than playing for the second team of your city, but come on. Like, we know what's more valued when we talk about these guys. An NBA championship. An Olympic gold medal. I mean, Team USA doesn't need Kawhi Leonard. You do not need Kawhi Leonard. The Clippers, we need Kawhi Leonard. We're the ones paying him $50 million per year, so I'm relieved, but I'm also a little bit worried. And coming up, I'm going to be talking more about the worries that don't just relate to Kawhi Leonard in this particular moment, but what does this say about the Clippers, the state of the Clippers team right now, that our best player has these kind of discussions surrounding him? I'm going to be talking about that coming up. All right, so to finish off, Kawhi Leonard pulled from Team USA. It's big news. It's big news, withdrew from Team USA. Now, I want to talk about the worries that come from all this. Let's say we're going with what I believe, that there was a setback and he got pulled. As I said in the first segment, this is very concerning and frightening as a fan. It's just looking less and less likely that Kawhi is going to be able to have a full postseason. Have a season where he's fine and plays in the postseason. Like, it's really tough to imagine that. And, I mean, our whole franchise has been traded for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Now we lost Paul George. Like, it's really tough because this also just makes his stock lower. Like, right now we're really figuring out, and when I say we, I mean this is what I suspect that the Clippers front office is doing. What's the last piece for this roster? Are we going for a big four? Names like John Collins have been thrown around a lot. Or are we going for a Zach LaVine, a guy to replace Paul George? DeRozan's already off the market. He's going to Sacramento. We've had discussions about DeRozan in the past. Zach LaVine, it seems like the market is very low for him. Are we going for one of those guys? Can we go for one of those guys? Are we willing to give up guys to go for one of those guys? It's going to cost something. Here's the thing. If we don't go for one of those guys, and we just stay put, this team is probably a playing team. Because Kawhi Leonard is not going to play 82 games. He's not even going to play 70 games, if I had to guess. He is going to be load managed like crazy. He's not going to play back-to-backs after what happened last year and what's happening in this summer. So to me, with James Harden's fantastic ability to raise the floor of being able to get good shots no matter what, we can still win 40 to 45 games. I would even say we're going to win 40 to 50 games next year, even if we don't make any moves. But that's me being a little bit optimistic. Let's say Kawhi Leonard misses 32 games and James Harden misses 20. We could be flirting with 38 to 44 wins. That's just my prediction. If the roster stays the same and there's no other moves and no other significant player. I mean, of course, we trade Russ, but I'm thinking, let's say we trade Russ, we get a couple second rounders. That would show me, though, that the front office is like not serious about winning a championship right now with Kawhi and not maximizing any potential that, this team has if he can stay healthy for a postseason run. Which, again, I don't really care for. I mean, if we have to give up more serious assets, like anything more than second-round picks, like first-round picks or Terrence Mann or Zubats, I'm not down for that. If it's like Bones Highland, Norman Powell, and a second-rounder for Zach LaVine, I would take that. I don't even know. Like, I have to go through all the salary and stuff. I don't know all the salary, the matching contracts. But my point is, if the Clippers don't make any moves, they're a playing team, right? Like, I don't think they're a top 6 team with Kawhi's health. Maybe I'm wrong, though, because James Harden and Kawhi Leonard are great. It's just about Kawhi's health, though. And I don't suspect that he's going to play anywhere close to the amount of games that he played this past season. So it just worries me because with these concerns, how do we get off of this? The title window feels shut, Clipper Nation. I don't mean to sound like a downer, but this is what I felt for over a year now. It doesn't feel like this can happen anymore, with Kawhi being the number one guy you're relying on to win a title. But it's so hard to say goodbye to that or to say no to that, because when he plays, he's literally still just a top 5 player in the NBA for me, top 10 at the very worst. And he's so consistent and he's so well-rounded. That's the tough part. But I can't sit here and tell you as your host and as a fan that I believe he's going to stay healthy for a full playoff run. I don't even believe he's going to stay healthy for one full series for us. It would be crazy, and I still am holding out a little bit of hope that let's say next year he plays 56 games. We get into the playoffs as like the 7th seed, and then Kawhi is actually healthy for the playoffs. That would be fun just to see it into a dome with that rocking crowd. Maybe Kawhi Leonard wasn't meant to play full playoff games healthy in front of a sold-out playoff Clipper crowd at the Staples Center. Maybe it was meant to happen in the Intuit Dome. But, just being honest, is I don't believe that he can stay healthy for it. What does that mean, though? Can the Clippers try to trade him? Do they wait till his stock is high this season, inevitably when he's having a good stretch, and try to trade him? Well, here's the thing. What teams want to take a gamble on this? On the injury history of Kawhi Leonard? Because I can't lie to you. I can't imagine hosting these pods for the next 3 years and still talking about Kawhi Leonard-led teams. I just can't imagine that. Next year sounds in the cards, maybe one more year after, but 3 years. Unless, of course, something is produced. This is just me going with the assumption that, it's going to be, we're talking about Kawhi's health every year and we haven't seen it and all that. If he can stay healthy, who knows what could happen? And then that opens up a conversation, a different conversation in every Clipper fan's mind and the organization's mind, and also the other teams around the league looking at it. But as it stands, I don't like this experience is not fun. It's very hard to rely on. And let's say the Clippers did try to trade Kawhi and a team took a swing on him when he's going through a healthy stretch and say, look, we're just going to take the gamble. If he can stay healthy for us, it's worth it. How much would you get if you're the Clippers? I don't know. But I'll tell you what. There are teams that if Kawhi Leonard is showing that he's healthy, it's worth taking the swing. Depending on what you give up, it is. But I don't think anyone's going to do that. Not this season, I don't know. Not until he can stay healthy in the playoffs again. So for now, the Clippers are kind of stuck. And here's the thing. Even if they did trade Kawhi and got like rebuilding pieces, the worse the Clippers are, the more it hurts because OKC has our pick. Now, this is the biggest thing. OKC has a potential pick swap with Houston. So if Houston is worse than the Clippers, OKC will take Houston's pick, and then we get to keep our pick, which is huge. That's from the Russell Westbrook trade to Houston from OKC. So I just hope that, and then James Harden would likely want out, and then the Clippers would be terrible, and so we'd be worse than Houston. So the thing is, we got to be better than Houston this year. So we kind of need James Harden and Kawhi. It's a weird position to be in. The best case scenario is you just hope for the best with Kawhi's health. But another season of that, how are you going to get Clipper fans excited besides this new stadium? We lost Paul George. We just have Derek Jones, Nico, Mo Bamba, KPJ. Yes, by the way, I know. I've seen the comments about KPJ, guys. I'm waiting to get as much information as I can to bring you guys that episode in the best way I can, because there are people that feel very strongly about these kinds of topics. And it's just, if I'm only appealing to the crowd of, oh, but he's a good player, give him a second chance, that wouldn't be being a great host. Because there's a lot of people that feel very strongly about this, and they have a right to feel that way. And we're going to wait till we have all the information, and I have some more conversations with the network about how I want to proceed with doing a KPJ episode. I did a Primo episode, and that wasn't the easiest for me to do because, again, you also have to think about it from my perspective. Any way I phrase something that can come off the wrong way, then I look bad. And you know how it is these days. Like, you can get shut down and canceled for anything. And I don't want to, have my quotes taken out of context. So we're going to wait on that. But on the next episode, we're going to have an old voice, an old guest that you guys are very familiar with. And we're going to be talking about some of the additions and how another fan feels about Paul George being gone. And then the Kawhi Leonard news is just going to be kind of the latest on the Clippers with a familiar face. So, I hope you guys tune into that. And let me know in the comments what you think of all this. And also, keep giving me guest requests. I kind of like that. Throw me some guest requests. Clipper community, people you think would be easy to attain, maybe channels that you would like for me to collab with. Let me know. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my own YouTube channel for even more LA sports content and NBA content at all times. And Locked On Clippers, free and available wherever you get your podcasts. I see the subscriber count going up. Let's keep it pushing. Let's get to 6K. Keep telling on your Clipper fan friends about it. The only 5-day-a-week Clippers show. And I want to catch up to these other NBA teams, man. I'm competitive. We got to get up there. How competitive is Clipper Nation? How many fans we really got? Let's get up to 6,000. The age-old proverb continues, go Clippers.